Okay, we'll make a start. We're going to start off with a warm-up. And when we're doing our warm-up, work it to your level. I'll guide you through it, but it's already a major part. I know some of you might be totally new to Wing Chun as a martial art, but it's already a big part of our training in the sense of this art's about using your joint power and not relying on muscular force. So even in our warm-up, we take our time getting used to our body and getting used to using our joints and trying to free off our muscles rather than trying to rely on muscular force after. Also, I say select me a speaker, so I'm big in the screen and I stay pinned. Okay. So to start off, if you just come to a shoulder width position with your toes straight, and we're going to take our head and we're going to imagine our heads being pulled up to the sky, and this is going to help straighten out our body and just align ourselves. So we want our center of balance coming directly in between us through to the ground. You can have a little bend in your knees to drop your hips down and drop your base. And we want to take our hand to start off, take our palm, your right or left hand, whichever you choose, and just place it on your belly button. And it's going to be different for everyone, but about an inch behind our belly button is our center of mass, our center of gravity. And when we're moving around in Wing Chun, we move from there. So it's just getting the idea of connecting to that. And we take our left hand and we place it on the same position behind. And we're just going to look up and down. So we're going to start by stretching off our neck. And when you're stretching off your neck, we're going to, instead of just trying to look back and crunch, we're going to imagine our heads being lifted as we lift our head back. So imagine your head's literally being pulled as you look back, and that's going to help not crunch your neck basically as you're looking back. So we're just going to look up and down. So just find a soft, controlled rhythm as we're just warming up. And left and right, as far as we can, again, taking care not to move the rest of our body, to keep our torso square, but going full range of motion that we feel comfortable going. And we're just going to circle our head all the way around, nice and loose. You can close your eyes and that's going to help you focus in more. In both directions. And then just returning back to center. From there, take our hands onto our hips. And we're going to circle our shoulders. I'll get a bit closer. So we're going to circle forward. Try and draw your shoulders up all the way to your ear. And backwards. And remember to breathe as you're doing it, so you stay relaxed. Worst is if you hold your breath and the tension starts building. So breathe through it. We're going to move to our elbows. So we're going to lift our elbows up and we're just going to circle. So you can circle outwards. Nice and loose, both directions. You might be able to use this move in Lindy Hop. You might be able to somehow combine it in. And we're going to move to waves. So we're going to join our hands together. And we're going to lift our elbow, our wrist, and let it travel along. Nice and smooth. We want to take care not to move the rest of our body. Try and isolate in both directions. You can try and use this one. You don't need to be a Lindy Hopper for this one. You can use this whenever you go out partying. And then we're just going to press down to stretch out our wrists and make sure your shoulders are pressed down as well. Changing direction and up. And just so you guys know, I will be recording this session, but just my camera. as a couple of people messaged me and asked they can't make it, can I record it and send them a link? So if anyone wants the link after to have a look over anything, then you're more than welcome, just let me know. Okay, come back to a prayer position. And we're going to go to our fingers. So we're going to make a triangle. So keep your fingers straight. And this is to stretch out our fingers a little bit. And then we're going to open in a wave and then come back. It's a bit like a flower. And try and keep that going. When you close, triangle, fingers straight, wave, bam. Yeah, and try and get a nice rhythm going with it. It's kind of hard working with the smaller parts of our body, the joints, but in Wing Chun especially, which is a close range art, this is super important. Okay, we're going to go into our whole arms. So we're going to circle. Make sure you have space, make sure you don't hit no one. And just reaching up above you. And a slight drop when you come down, so it's a release. And let your arms go totally. Almost throw them a bit. And backwards. It's a nice way to warm up in the morning. When you get out of bed, you can do this. And hands onto your hips. And circling. Sorry, did someone have a question then? I'm guessing not. Just go to where it's comfortable. I think I'm going to mute you, Alison, because I think you're unmuted. Which might mean...
Oh, I'll learn it again.
No worries. And again, depending on how you feel, if you can't put all your weight on one leg or use the weight you can, we're going to go on to a single leg. And we're just going to circle our hip 10 times in one direction and 10 times in the other. So try and take your hands onto your hips and pull your head to the sky. This is a bit of single leg balance for our stamp kicks and some of our lower kicks that we do in Wing Chun. I never count, but roughly about 10. And once you're done, just change to the other side. In both directions. And we're going to come back to the other side. And we're just going to keep our knee up and we're going to draw. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. So we're going to write numbers with our feet. It gets harder when you do the other side. So come to your right side and we're just going to go 1. And just draw that number out. 2, 3. Try and keep the rest of your body stable. 4, 5, 6. What this is going to train. 7, 8. If you have a foot fight with anyone, you're going to be really good. 9, 10. Now it's just to loosen everything up. Let's change sides. Now try and write the numbers in the opposite way. 1. This is where it gets difficult. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I did that one wrong. 8, 9, 10. Change back to the other side. Okay, get ready. I just want to test you guys out a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, I recommend doing that. It's going to help you stay stable. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, nice. Feet on the ground. I'm sure you'll be relieved to put them back down. Ankle just rotating 8 to 10 times in both directions. And the other side as well. And from there, just bring your feet together. The first thing we're going to do is our basic stance. And actually, if you need to, grab a sip of water so I can show you while you're grabbing a sip of water. I'll show you our basic stance. And some of you might be completely new to Wing Chun, but just for your reference, it's a close range self-defense art. And its background is it was created by a woman. So as I was saying before, we don't really rely on muscular force. We work with understanding our body, knowing our body, how to connect it to the ground as we're moving, and also whipping strikes and using our structure to the best we can. So for example, when we're throwing, we have a variety of strikes which we'll go through today, but when we're throwing a strike, instead of trying to use muscular force, it's more kind of like quick throwing energy. Or when we're throwing a punch, it's actually our body throwing more really relaxed than it is us trying to use muscles in our body. So it's all from our joints basically, and that's why even just the beginning, the warm-up, kind of identifying each of these parts of your body and building up a sort of language with you and these different body parts, so after when we integrate it into our movements with our strikes or whatever that is, you know you have that feeling, so you can tap into that. Otherwise, you start straight away kind of using muscle to try and get things done, and you basically are not as efficient because you waste a lot of energy and everything's so much harder. But if you're nice, the more relaxed you can be, the easier everything is basically. But we're going to just look at our basic stance today, and our basic stance is a square-on stance, meaning you're facing the person directly. So there's different stances in Wing Chun and in all martial arts, but the first one we're going to look at is this, facing, imagine the opponent's right in front of you or the person, because this one kind of embodies the main principles of Wing Chun. And also at the end, probably I'm going to try, if we have time, I think we will, to teach you guys the first part of the first form, because that kind of has all the Wing Chun concepts in it, and you guys can train it yourself after, if you like. So I'll just show you our basic stance first. Our hands are down by our side, our feet together. We've brought our center of gravity to the middle. You can try it with me if you like. And we imagine a pole going through our body, so we want our center of balance to be directly in the middle. We bring our hands forward, and when they come up, we just close to a fist. And this is actually a whipping strike, so it's coming from there. It's basically a back fist, which you can use to the nose or anything like that. We pull our hands back, we tuck our elbows in, we pull our hands all the way back nice, and now we bend our knees to drop our weight down. So we build up. As soon as you do this, you should feel a better connection with the ground in your feet. So when you drop like that, make sure you feel that connection to the ground, because we're lowering our center of gravity so we're more stable once we open up. And from there, it's going to maybe be weird for some of you, but we're going to measure off. We're going to open our toes, and we're going to go as far as we can that's comfortable, and then we're going to open our heels. And we're going to make a slight triangle. So our toes are pointing slightly in. So as a point, they would meet. And this kind of, as we're training, I'll explain why. But this is our first general position. And when we close, we just reverse. We go heels, toes, and now we come up out of our stance. So we push down with our palms at our sides, and we lift up. So imagine you're pressing down, whoom, and your body's straightening out. So there should be a clear difference once you've opened that drop of your weight and when you come out of it. So let's try it together again. So we bring our hands forward. We pull back. We bend our knees, drop our weight, feel the connection to the ground. Toes out, heels out. And when we close, heels, toes, push down. We open, our hands come forward, pull back, bend our knees, toes, heels. And when we close, heels, toes, push down. Okay, now I'm not going to guide you through it. I'm going to do it, but I want to see if you remember yourself. And that's the best way to learn. So we're going to open. And we're going to close. Open. And close. Open. Okay, now close your eyes. Close. And this is going to make you really aware of where your balance is. And open. And close. And you can open your eyes. Just a couple little pointers with that. You can shake out if you need to so you don't build up any tension. If you need to move, move. We don't want to build up tension in our stances. Now, even when we're in the stance, even when our weight's dropped, we're not stuck. So that means at any point we could move. So that's how your stance should feel. Even though you're dropping your weight down, you can move at any point. So you're not holding a position. We're not kind of getting there and then holding anything. We're keeping our weight dropped so that after, if we need to move in a direction, we can use the ground, the connection, and move directly in that direction quickly. When you're opening, just take care, because this is what, normally there's a lot of movement, but we want to stay on the same plane. So, unlike in Lindy Hop, we don't want to bounce. We don't want to telegraph anything. We don't want anyone to see what we're doing. So we keep the same level. Our aim is to try and keep the same level as we're opening. So we're not bouncing up and down. Also, our hips, when we open, again, we're trying to think of that pull through us, so we don't want to move. When we're opening up, we want to try and stay and keep our hips stable as possible, so they're not leaning forward or back. Our objective pretty much is always to maintain our center of gravity, so that if someone grabs you, someone pushes you, or a strike comes in, you have the most opportunity to keep your balance in any direction. So for example, if someone's in front of you, and maybe in some arts where it's like a one-on-one thing, it's more optimal to have your weight forward because that's where your target is. But in a self-defense art, it's not so optimal because the attacker can be anywhere and there could be multiple attackers. So in general, it's more optimal to keep your weight centered so you have the option to move in any direction rather than have one specific. Once you maybe go into a target or anything like that, then it changes, but this is just in general. So we're thinking about keeping your head level the same and keeping your hips the same. Could we turn to the side? Yes, now I can see. And close your eyes, because this is going to help you focus in. Have your hands down by your side, head to the sky. Imagine your head's being pulled up. A couple deep breaths in and out. And we're going to open And yes, good. No rush. And close. Good. So when you're thinking about, you can open your eyes a second. When you're thinking about your head being pulled up, sorry, let me just, imagine it's literally the top of your head. I'll use my ponytail. And it goes like this. And that will straighten your body out. So just think of that. Imagine your head's going boom, and that will straighten your spine up, and that will straighten your body up. It's just your knees bending that drops your weight. So just for reference, arms forward, pull back, bend your knees, toes, heels. Wow, well done everyone. And when you close, heels, toes, push down, feel yourself coming up out of your stance. Let's do it a couple more times and then we'll move on. But I want you to try if you can with your eyes closed. Try it in your own time, Try it in your own time. It's good to kind of feel it out yourself as well. And at the end of class, I'll have a bit of time for questions, but if you do have questions about something, just do ask me. So just relax, grab a sip of water if you need to. If you have a question on that stance, let me know. Otherwise, we'll move on. And again, with the questions, you can just unmute or post in the chat box. It's no problem. A couple other little pointers with that. We're getting used to, with our hand position, just so you guys have this for reference, we're getting used to them being in this position. Obviously, it's a training stance to train certain parts of your body, but it's not a fighting stance. It's not how you stand and fight. But we're already getting used to here, being our hands round here, which is a kind of usual position to be. That's not too threatening, but also not keeping our hands low if someone's close in. As soon as someone gets close into you, you need to create some sort of fence and also bring your hand closer to your target, which is them. Then if their hand's closer to you or they come into a threatening position, then they're already ahead on time because their hand's just going to be closer. So we're already getting used to this. Just going bump, bump. From here we can just go straight into our strikes. So this position kind of helps you with that. With the hips closed, this is just so that we can cover our center quicker. So for Wing Chun reference, all our targets are the eyes, the nose, the jaw, the throat, the solar plexus, and if it's on guys, the groin area. They're your targets that you always want to go to. And that's simply because from a self-defense perspective, it's going to be an attacker that probably thinks that they're stronger than you or they have something over you that they can defeat you. It's not going to necessarily be someone the same weight or equal ability. It's probably someone that thinks that they can injure you. So our targets are always to the best of our ability. If we're fighting someone stronger, what's going to give us the most opportunity for survival, which is generally the eyes, the nose, the throat. Not that you have to do that to someone, but that's the whole point, that if you do need to, then that's why these techniques, again, they're all throwing techniques. They're really easy to do. So, within them concepts, if we bring our hands to our side, we open up our stance. We're going to bring our hands together and make a triangle in front of us. And this creates a wedge. We don't need to lift our elbows up. We want shoulders down, elbows sunk. And you'll be able to generate a lot of force by sinking your shoulder and elbow. And this kind of creates a wedge for us. It also brings us towards our target. So have your fingers pointing straight. And this is one of our basic guards that we're going to do. It's not this. We take our right hand back. So we have 2 lines of defense and 2 lines of attack, meaning if someone gets past our first hand, we have a second hand here. But we're pointing towards our target, so they're actually aligned together. Your front hand, the fingers are pointing at the person. Your rear hand is in like a prayer hand position. So you can kind of use this to cover and strike at the same time, or they can both become attack and defend. That's also one of the reasons our stance is square on, is so that we can use both sides. If you blade your stance more, it becomes longer for your rear arm and leg to get to the target. So from this triangle position, we take our right hand back, and we're going to line it up roughly with the crook of our arm. And what happens is after, it's going to move, it's going to adapt, it's going to change depending on what happens. You might need to bring it closer to your chin to cover. You might want to extend it forward. But as a reference, we're going to bring it to the crook of our arm. And all we're going to do is change our guard. But imagine now that when you put this guard out, you are actually aiming like a bow and arrow at someone. And that's going to give it the right intention behind it. Otherwise, it could just kind of be there and it's not doing anything. You kind of want to know exactly where you're going with it. You don't have to put too much muscular force into it, but it does need shape. So just give it shape. And we're going to change from here. We're going to drop and we're going to shoot through. We're going to drop and shoot through. And when we're doing this, we don't want to create a big circle. We want to rotate circular half circle the lower arm, but the top arm shoots through. So it's like, imagine an arrow. You don't want the arrow to go to the target like this. You want the top arm just to go bam and drive straight through. Take care when you're doing this not to overextend your arm. Bam. Keep a slight bend even when you're extending out. Now's the time to train it when we're going slower to keep a slight bend. Let's give it a go together. And I want you to focus on the tip of your longest finger when you're doing it. This is going to help your focus. So if we have our left hand forward and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, good, 7. Now this rear hand, don't have it too low, try and keep it up. 8, 9, 10. Nice. 1, relax the elbows. Let the elbows drop down. Good, it's going to use less energy. 2, 3. It will also create a straighter line and be less telegraphed. 4, 5. Now that rear hand, keep it up. Yes, this is your second line of defense. Keep it around your face. So don't want to get hit in the face. 7, 8, 9, 10. Nice focus. I like that. Close to a fist. Now when we close to our fist, that backhand, instead of facing up, is going to face forward. Because now we're using it to attack. And this is going to be a vertical punch, meaning we're going to punch with our knuckles vertical instead of horizontal. And it's going to be the exact same technique. You drop and shoot through. You drop and shoot through. So we want to now just change it. That backhand, instead of up, is going to face forward. So when we punch, we don't want to make two motions. We just want to go from there, bam. Also, you can start to bring it a bit further forward. So now, for example, the hand we had before, which is called a guard hand, is called Wu Sao. That is from the crook of your arm and towards your chin. We want to keep it around this area. But now we're punching. We don't want to go further than the crook of the arm, really, because it starts making it big. And these are quick, short punches. So let's give it a go. The same technique. We drop and punch through to the same point, straight as possible. 1, 2, keep the fist relaxed. 3, 4, elbows dropped. 5, yes. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we're going to do 3 punches now. Relax your arms, shake them out if you need to. If you want to challenge yourself, you can keep them up. It's quite an army up because we're all close in. It's bum, 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 bum. Everything's with the arms. Well, we're doing because it's a close range art, so you end up using your arms a lot, and especially if you're not used to it, you will hold a lot of tension and it aches super quick. One of the good things about doing it a lot is you learn to relax because you just get so exhausted. So we're going to go to 3 punches, and all we're going to do now is keep that smaller line. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, this is literally what we're going to do. So it's like bam, 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 with a bit more energy. Just make sure that you don't start coming out. Keep it in the center. So imagine you hit someone, the next thing they're going to see is bam, the next punch coming through. But you don't want them to see this with this strike because they can see it. It's almost like you're hiding it, like a snooker cue, and then going bam, and it just comes through. So the more straight you can make it, the harder it is for someone to see. Let's give it a go. 3 punches to the count. Take care not to overextend. Always keep a slight bend. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep that circle small. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I hope you guys are ready. Is everyone feeling okay? Yeah, good. 5 punches. If you're more advanced, you can go for it a bit more. You can put more energy into it. So let's go 5 punches to the count. Keep your arms relaxed as possible. 1, 2, 3, 4. Elbows relaxed. Yeah. 5. Try and think about hitting with your knuckles. 6. Good. Still keep this motion. Try not to. 7. 8. 9. Yes, breathe. Breathe with it. 10. Pull your hands back. Push your hands down. Breathe. Starts building up. Yeah, relax, let it come down. So basically, these punches are for when you're already engaged, meaning you're already close in and you've begun striking, and that's the chain of strikes. You wouldn't kind of want to just run forward punching like this. This is you're already close in, bum 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 bum, and you just go from there, bop 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 bop, and just drive from that position. Because once you're in on someone in this art, you stay on them, basically. Once we're close in, we stick with them. We have other drills that we practice our connection and being able to stay with someone as they're moving. Much like in dance, but we're just hitting them while we're doing it. That's all. So you could use this one if you get a bad lead. So this is that idea. So again, with this strike, keeping it more linear makes it so much harder to see. I use this all the time in sparring, like whenever I spar with people, boxers, MMA people. I always mix up traditional punching with the elbow up with this, because this is really hard to see. This one, when your elbow comes up, is really easy. It becomes more visible because people can see your elbow coming up, but they can't see this just straight line, bam, just coming up, because it's more like a snooker cue, someone just going pop. It becomes really hard to judge it. The other thing with our elbows down is because if we have our elbow up and we come up against someone bigger and we hit them and they're coming forward, the pressure really easily comes back into us. If our elbows are down, it becomes so much easier to sink it and keep your shoulder relaxed. You can feel this if you just go up to a wall and push like that and then drop your elbow and push like this. You can try it yourself now if you like on a wall, just to feel the difference with your elbow up, or if you've got someone with you, you just sit in your stance and get them to push on your arm so you can feel the difference. So you can just put your punch out like this, get them to push, see what it feels like, and then drop it and get them to push and see what it feels like. But any of these things you could just train on a wall as well. Okay, let's move on to either eye strikes or elbows. If you want eye strikes, put your finger up for number 1. If you want elbows, put 2 fingers up. Oh, both. Lethal, we want both. Well, okay. We had a majority vote on elbows there, but we're adding some eye strikes on it. Yeah? Let's add in eye strikes on it. Actually, so with our eye strikes, they're actually probably in Wing Chun our best weapon because they cover the most distance. As soon as we go to a punch, a bit less distance, palm, less distance, elbow, less, shoulder, even less. But it depends on someone's distance, obviously, but I actually think for self-defense, the eye strike's the best one because they're easy to throw. Anyone can learn to do it and it doesn't require any muscular force. So for self-defense, eye strikes are the best, and it doesn't matter how big someone is. If you poke them in the eye, pretty much, that's going to give you an opportunity to either escape, so you can just go like bam and then escape, or also if you want to set it up with something, it's actually quicker to throw an eye strike, like bam and then come in with a punch or elbow or whatever you want. So it's a really good strike. But we'll start off with elbows because people want elbows. And I hope everyone's okay with the pace. I'm actually going to speed it up a little bit and then see how you deal with it because everyone seems okay. So if we open up our basic stance, weight drop to the ground, head to sky. I'm going to come closer so you can see. We're going to take our right arm. Let's just map it out first. We're going to go 1, which is a vertical elbow upwards. And we want to take care not to have we're not sunbathing. Save that one for the beach. And our hands are going to be open. And then we're going to go 2. We're going to pull it down. Bam. Backwards elbow. Yes. And now close to a fist when you do that one. Yes. Yeah. And now we're going to do 3. It's going to come across us. It's kind of weird. This one will feel a bit awkward. I'll show you this one. 4 out. This one's a bit weird. Let's start again. Just bring that same arm back down. So all we're doing is vertical, up and down, and then across. So we're making a cross. So we're going open hand up. There's 1, 2 down, 3 coming in, and you have to fold the hand. Yeah, bam. And you have to really try and loose the shoulder. Bam, keep it loose. 4 out. And we close to a fist again. So we're covering the vertical lines with our elbows. And from there, we're going to change sides. It's going to look like this. We're going to go up now with this one, and we're going to pull this one back. 1, 2. I just grabbed my hair. The danger of having long hair. 3, 4. Other side. 1. Yeah, that's cool. Keep it really tight. The tighter the better. 2, 3. In. Yes. 4. Out. And make sure the elbow's up. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very nice. This other hand, keep it, turn it all the way. Bam, so your knuckles are turned, 1, 2, 3, 4. Elbows up for this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shake your arms out. We're going to go a bit quicker. So if you're more experienced, like Chun, you're very experienced. So it's more important for you, but everyone can try this, is to make it less army and make it more from, like we said earlier, your center. So it's actually coming from here, your center, and then out to the arm. instead of just your arm, which is not going to be as powerful if you're just using your arm. But if it's your first time doing it and you need to map it out, just map it. If you're more experienced, try and think really small, like if I'm going to the side, my center goes like this. And you just go bam, bam. So it becomes more like a whip from the center of your body. Yeah, if you don't want to over-exaggerate it. The smaller you can make that, the better. Because if you make it too big, then someone would see it, basically. So you make it small, bam, from here. When we come up, keep it really tight, because this can also be a defense. When we come back, imagine you're sitting down a little bit further. So imagine we've come to here. Imagine you sit down a little bit further, so you're like a pump. Probably when I'm breathing, it's super loud in the mic, my apologies. Bam. So your weight's sinking. It's going to give you more power. On the way in, you just got to practice this one, and your shoulder will loosen. Feels awkward when you first do it. And then out. Let's go for it, thinking about them points. Wherever you're at is fine with it. So just open up your stance, because that's supporting everything we do. Yeah, that base is dropped. And let's go with our right hand first. 1, work it to your level. 2, yeah, nice. 3, 4, boom. Other side, 1, bam. Use your center. 2, boom. 3, boom. 4, boom. Other side, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good work. Now we're going to go like this. 1. We're going to do all 4. So what you're going to do is go up, down, in, out. That's how I remember it. We're just going to do all 4. Let's just bring our hands back to here, and let's just go for it with your right hand. 1. Yeah. 2. Yeah, you all got it now. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. Nice. Good. 8. It's fine. It's all good. 10. And shake your arms out. And let's go. Let's just add in an eye strike for Tim. So we're going to add in an eye strike. We might as well. But any of these motions are actually quite good for loosening your shoulders anyway. You just get used to throwing it. If you've got tight shoulders, you keep it really loose and you just practice going like this. And trying to go, you don't have to overdo it, so it's not like, as soon as you start making more tension, it won't loosen, right? But you just start trying to reach a little bit further every time. It's a nice way to loosen off the shoulders, a bit more fun than just kind of holding positions. And yeah, and if you're more experienced, try and build it up. So when you're going, you've got power, bam, 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 in each one. And you just go explosively with it, which is all from your center. It's just your center going, dut, 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 dut. So if you imagine like a pinball machine, it's just like that, going out to the arms. So eye strikes. What we'll do is we'll add it in from one of our other guards. It's called a tunnel guard. You're making a tunnel, basically. And it keeps an equal distance for us. If someone's in front of you, you're creating a space, a vacuum, basically. Either you, number one, want to control the distance, but they're either going to come in the middle or they're going to go on the outside. So it's just a guard for this, but we're going to train our eye strikes from here. We're going to do vertical. So if we just get our wrist and go like this first, this is our warm-up. Go up and down 10 times. Don't let the rest of your arm move. Just go up and down 10 times. Try and go to the end of your range of motion though. So you get that bit extra stretch. And now we're going to bring our elbows in. Dum, dum, dum. So now get the extension of your elbows. And now we're going to take our shoulders and we're going to go circle, forward, circle, forward, circle. So start it at your shoulders and let it come out. This will just help loosen off. Now when we do this eye strike, again we want to take care not to overextend our joints. It's really easy to do it. When you're throwing, it's easy to overextend. So make sure you go to a pace that is not going to overextend your joints. And all we're going to do from here now is extend forward and come up and down at the same time, like this, with our wrist. So this one isn't like our darting eye strikes. This isn't thrusting into the eyes. This one's like a flick across the eyes. So if you think about using this one, if you're nicer and you don't want to thrust someone in the eyes, you can use this sort of move. This is just a flick, but it's going to be just as effective. If you flick someone in the eyes, they're definitely either going to look away or they're going to close their eye, which will give you enough time to escape or set up another strike. So we're going to go from here and go 1, boom. And think about now throwing a ball, like this. So it's nice and loose. Yeah, let's go for it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, really good. 7, 8, 9, 10. It's so much easier when your hands are open to stay relaxed, because I can tell the difference. As soon as you clench, people normally want to tense up. We're going to change it. Turn your hands over. And now we're going to go out. The elbow's still coming forward, so we're not opening up for this particular moment. We're just going out like this. So if you need to warm up, just do 10 like this. Now across. So we just went up and down, now we're going across. So now when you extend forward, you're going to whip across. And you almost want like a recoil, so you go ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. So as soon as you throw it, it's actually your tendons that you're using. So imagine like elastic band going so the more relaxed you are, the more you can feel that. The more tense you are, it's really hard to sort of feel that. But imagine like an elastic band, so there's recoil. We'll actually still keep our tunnel guard, but we'll rotate out and come back. Let's give it a go. 1, 2, nice. 3, 4, project forward. 5. Don't hold your hands here. I know it's tiring, but there's a difference. If someone comes up to you and you're like this, or you're like that, like bam, in their face. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pull your hands down to your side. Stay in your stance. We'll give one more a go. We're going to go forward. We'll just go vertical. Diagonal out to the sides. Take care with these though, not to overextend. And right out to the side, sorry. That could be confusing. So we're going forward, diagonal, out to our diagonal, wherever that is, and out to the side. So we're covering this whole plane in front of us, out to our body. So it's going to go like this. 1, we're going to do this from hands down. Bam, relax. Totally relax when you come back down. 2 on the diagonal. Yes, 3 out to the side. Yeah, now be comfortable. Don't go to a pace that you feel comfortable with. Don't overdo it. It's better to get the control of it first, but if you're comfortable with it, then go for it. To the count. In fact, close your eyes. 1, 2, 3 out to the side. So we're going to go back to 1, which is going to be forward. Relax your arms. We're going to go forward. 1. Yes, diagonal. 2. Out to the sides. 3. Don't forget the wrist. Nice. 1, 2, 3. Now any direction you want. any direction you want. We're going to go spontaneous. I'm not going to give you a count. Just whenever you feel ready, bam. Yeah? So it gives you an opportunity to try it yourself in any direction, but still breathe. If you want to breathe out with a strike, do, but just make sure you're breathing. Yeah. Yes, bam, flick, 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 whom, whum, 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 with the wrists. Yes, and come up and down as well. So sometimes it can come from here, but make sure the finishing is there. So you're not flicking up on them. You can do, but when you come up, bam, bam. This is the weirdest part, yeah, it's this wrist. And you can practice it like this. You throw it from here. It's like elastic. Yeah. Ba-bam, ba-bam. So it's like elastic. Yes. And just pull your hands back. Left foot to right. And push down. Grab a sip of water. We'll go over the form. I'll show you the form. I won't go into the detail of it because we would need another lesson. And we can do that as we're building up over these weeks to go into more detail. But I just want to show it to you and do it with me. And if anyone wants to remember it and they can't, just message me. I'll send you a video. And I'll put this video on a private link on YouTube anyway. So we open up our basic stance that we were in. And our first position, we make a cross guard with our hands coming down. And our fingertips are to the edge of our hips. We have our left over our right. And it's on the diagonal, so it's not against us. It's not up, it's on that diagonal. And from that position, we come up and our right goes in front of our left to the mid-horizontal plane. So our wrists now are on our solar plexus level and our palms are now facing us. So we've gone from here on our belly button level, the lower horizontal plane, to here, the mid. Yes. So we're going from the top of our hands facing out, and when we come up, they're facing in. So, Nicola, just turn your palms towards you. Yeah. Imagine a butterfly. Yes. And then we pull back. Boom. And then we're going to go left hand into our center, vertical. And we punch forward into this right in front of us. And use your wrist as well. Boom. Hand opens and extends a tiny bit further. Boom, eye strike. So you're going from a punch, bam, eye strike. We circle our hand, it's called Hunsao, it's our circling at the wrist, so the rest of our arm doesn't move. We just circle in all the way around to train our wrists. And then pulls back. And then we go right hand into the center. Punch forward, use your wrist, bam, for extra power. Hand opens, eye strike. Folds in and around. Yeah. And pulls back. And then we go left hand tan sao, which is palm up, which translates to dispersing hand. And imagine your longest finger going out forward. Good. Everyone's getting this naturally. We circle up and down like this. And we come to our guard hand, Wu Sao, that we did earlier. So you're going from here to here, which is our guard hand's like a prayer hand. Bam. And then we take our elbow, we don't fold in, we bring our elbow back. So bring your elbow back down towards you, keep it close in, but keep your hand in your center. And then we're going to drop from this position. I wonder if you guys can remember all this. think it seems more complicated than it is once you got it. We drop to Fuxal. Fuxal's tame force hand. In the form, you do it differently than you use it, but for now, you just relax the hand. Relax it down totally. And this whenever your hand goes on top of something after, and you get used to controlling it. But for now, just relax the hand totally. Just drop it. And we go forward with that. Yes, excellent, really good. We circle again, down and around to Wusao. Really good. It comes back in the middle, our hand in the center line. It drops again to Fuxao. Make the arm super relaxed. Let it draw forward. Circle. And back. I never ever count. You're meant to do it 3 times. I'm going to just guess that we have. When I'm training it, I never count. I just do as many as I feel like doing. But they say do 3. If you need a number, at least do 3. We have slapping hand Paxao now, which clears. It's like a clearing hand to the edge of our shoulder. You might have seen that if you've seen Bruce Lee movies and Enter the Dragon when they're guard to guard. This sort of thing. Bam. And back to center. Yes, this is Paxao. And then we have palm, vertical palm, so fingers up, coming forward. And when it comes up, forward, you get the elbow underneath and you push up a bit. So if you imagine with a palm, you want to get under someone's chin and then actually knock their head back. There's different palms, but for this one, you're trying to get your elbow underneath to extend up and knock someone's head backwards. Yeah, nice. And then we circle in and around and pull back. And then we just do the same thing the other side. Right hand Tansao, dispersing hand, comes forward. Yeah, palm to sky. Yes. Circles to Wusao, our guard hand, draws back to the center. Totally relax the hand to Fuxao. Goes forward. Think about your elbow driving the motion, not bending it. Rotates to Wusao. Let's go one more time. Fuxao. Just totally relax the hand. Circles. Wusao draws back. Paxao, slapping hand. Palm vertical forwards. Bam. Circle around. Hunsao. Circle in hand. Yeah, you just finish across the eyes. And then pull back. Left to right. Push down. Sorry, I couldn't see my legs, could you? On this one, you could just bring your left like this to your right. So you suck in. Like you imagine your body sucking in, so you're going, and then push down. I forgot. Couldn't see my legs. And then give yourself a clap. Give yourself a clap. Grab some water and have a little think. If you have any questions on anything, then you're welcome to ask me about anything we've done, or just anything you want really within the context of what we're doing. And I try and answer it the best I can. You can unmute yourself. You're welcome to. Don't feel shy to unmute yourself. You can put it in the chat box. We have gone over time, so if you need to go, totally understand as well.